are you today, Aaron?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, how was your day so far?
Okay. I mean, we got a hurricane coming, so been preparing for that.
Uh, so, Aaron, last year you put up your singles village. So, would you like to tell a bit about this single in particular?
Yeah. I mean, well, kind of a funny story how the song came about. There, Kimmy Rudolph, who has a podcast, the Metal Deli, out of Chicago. She was playing our music from her previous release, "The Failure of Faith," and she brought up the fact that there was a band in Chicago called Spillage who wrote a song called "Blood of Angels."
Hmm.
Just she thought it'd be pretty cool, us being Blood of Angels, they would write a song called Spillage. So we ran with the idea. The lyrics came from the influence um, of well, Randy. Well, and the story behind the lyrics, I'll segue into that real quick. Randy and Jonathan were doing some yard work in the back of Jonathan's house, and they came across a dead possum. So the lyrics basically are about the death and decay of living things. So we took that with my guitar riff and ran with it, and it turned out to be a pretty successful song for us.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Spillage was also named the best heavy metal song of the year by Hollywood's Independent Awards. So, how do you feel about this accomplishment?
I'm still riding high from it. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible ceremony, with the red carpet and a lot of press and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible win. I thank them for choosing us and our song, and yeah, it's a great moment for the band, for all of us. And of course, if it wasn't for our supporters and everything, it definitely wouldn't be possible.
Fantastic, fantastic. And just to follow up to failure of faith, you're also working on another album this year. So how it all coming up for you guys?
It's coming. I mean, the writing process is coming together pretty well. We're slow going on the recording process, mostly because of scheduling with the studio exactly, like when we can get in there and everything. But it's going really well. I'm sure we'll probably have it out by the end of next spring with Biohazardous Records, and then we're looking to kick off touring after that.
Fantastic, fantastic. And are you planning to come up with any single this year?
Well, probably there was a cover that we did from Motorhead, teach them how to sing the blues. It was what we did it for was a European compilation for as a tribute to Motorhead, and they asked us to contribute a song. So far that's really only been released in Europe. So we're going to release that as a single individually on our end.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I know this has been almost 2 years away from Failure of Faith, but would you like to tell a bit about Failure of Faith, about the songwriting and production behind this album in particular?
It's an album mostly personally for me that I've always wanted to do. Basically, with my disposition and towards organized religion, and that's really the concept behind it. I mean, the first song's monotheism, just a description, a general idea of the idea going from polytheistic days into a single God ideology. The next one is I break down within three songs the formation of the three major monotheistic religions globally, with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Mm.
How the Old Testament was formed, the idea of Jesus, even the questioning of the existence of Jesus, the story of Muhammad, and even the question of legitimacy of the Quran itself, and by fact of he died in 550 AD. The first Quran, was until 590. You got a 40-year gap there. That's the question I asked. Why the 40-year gap? Um,
Mm.
I've yet to find anybody to give me an answer to that. But I mean, that's just a historical timeline fact of that. And that's the first half of the album. The second half of the album really goes into times in history where religion has corrupted us in many ways to the point where we're killing each other because we worship God differently from one another. For first one time I bring up is the Crusades, the long back and forth 200-year war. Yeah, and then one of the songs we do is "Disaster Supremacy," and that song is really about how national singleized national identity, religious theocracy, and racism, and racism and purity of that level, all those extremes on how they're absolutely really horrible for humanity. And anytime we've gone down that path, it's always led us to destruction. And the final track is I have America's mythologies, because in my country we have a lot of creative, interesting religions that have in our short American history that have come up through them. The ones I really focus on are kind of the ones that have taken a foothold in Mormonism. We do a verse about Mormonism. We do a verse about the Jehovah's Witness, and then I include Scientology in there, mostly because being in the Tampa Bay area, right across the bay, Clearwater is their main East Coast headquarters, and they've really spawned their ugly head into my community, and not so very constructive ways by taking, and I'll emphasize by that. And we have a historic district here in Tampa, Ybor City, which was built in 1870 originally by Cuban immigrants who were when Cuba was under Spanish rule, and they came to Tampa for refuge, and to drum up independence for Cuba and for the Caribbean nations that were under a foreign power. And Ybor City was founded by that wave of immigration in the late 19th century. And there were a lot of beautiful, wonderful historic buildings that were stores, that were wonderful restaurants. And this organization came in, bought up these historic buildings and just turned them into their headquarters and worship offices, instead of and taken away a portion of the history of our city by acquisition and eliminating these museums. And I think that's absolutely horrible.
And the band goes way back to 2017 when you debuted with your first EP. So how has this journey with Blood of Angels been so far?
It's been very good. The one thing I could say about us is that we've been on a constant upward trajectory, slowly, incrementally. We after Failure Faith, we got to do some touring with the awards that we've won for our single releases. It's just basically we're climbing our way up the mountain. Sometimes it's a bit of a slow climb, but we're definitely making incremental progress. And as a unit, the four of us are really in a good place with each other. So as long as we stay together, I think eventually we can get to where we want to be.
Interesting. And I know there have been a lot of highlight moments for the band. Is there something special that you want to share with me today?
Highlight moments.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah. Besides the independent, the Hollywood Independent Music Awards that were recent. We won the Independent Music Award in New York back in 2018. The Academia, which is another a music award group that's also in LA. They've been in existence for 12 years. They're starting a Hall of Fame, and we're going to get inducted into that Hall of Fame, which is an incredible honor. That'll be on May 18th in Los Angeles next year. So, and yeah, I mean, that'll be, that's fantastic.
And any plans to go on an international touring anytime soon?
Next year, I'm hoping to break into South America. We'll see if we can make that happen. Of course, I want to get to Europe and to our neighbors of the north in Canada. And yeah, I mean, as many places as that will have us, we will go.
Awesome, awesome. And Aaron, finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
Thank you so much for all your love and support. I mean, this has been a fantastic journey, and we're going to keep going. and we got new music and new things on the horizon and new plans, and looking forward to sharing that with everybody.
And Aaron, I want to thank you so much for taking your time and talking to me on Blood of Angels Village as well as Failure of Faith and working on the upcoming album. Thank you so much for all this information that you shared with us today. And I'm really hoping to see you on the road real soon and looking forward for the new album from you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure, Aaron. Take care and have a great evening out there. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.